Hi, I'm Laura and welcome back to my channel, and today I have my first update for my Pan Those Palettes challenge. Now, I will say I haven't gotten as much progress as I would have liked. I haven't worn makeup as much as I would have liked this month, but I'm still happy with what I've achieved so far. Starting with my least used things, that would be my base palettes, of course. Working on other things. I used this shade right here once, and I didn't touch anything else. I used this shade right here once, and didn't touch anything else. And I used one of these two shades once, and didn't touch anything else. Now, I know that's not the best start to panning palettes, I know. What I was thinking of doing was depotting some of these shades and putting them in my empty NARS compact that I used to help use up blush and highlight and bronzer back in 2022. And I think that might be a better way to get more use out of these products rather than humping around all of these palettes, because as I say, I don't get to always sit here and do my makeup. Sometimes I have to do it in the bathroom, sometimes, most times, it's in the living room. So I need it to be portable, accessible, and easy to use. And even though there's not a whole lot of product in each of these pans, carrying around the great big palette is still a bit of a pain. It's arduous. So that's what I will be doing going forward, is depotting some of these into a smaller packaging and working out of that. In terms of eyeshadows, I did not use my Dior Earth Reflection at all, and I didn't use the... what was that? And I didn't use the Extravaganza palette at all either. Just a little sneak peek of that bad boy. Isn't it massive and colourful and crazy? But again, with these, I'll get to this when I get to this, but for this guy, because it's so massive, what I did do was purchase one of these, and I'd seen, now let me get the name right, Caitlin Costello. I recently found her channel at the end of the year, and I've been like binging her content. And she depotted a bunch of her Revolution eyeshadows from different palettes and has been working on them as single shadows. And what I thought was, pick this guy up, is just a smaller palette. I believe this is 28, yes, 28 eyeshadows. And what I thought of doing was depotting some eyeshadows out of here, or part of them, and putting them into that palette. So maybe if I wanted to work on, if I needed like an extra lid shade or some transitional shades or whatever, just pop a couple of the colours out of here and put them into that palette and work from them there, and then come back here as and when I need to. So I will be working on that moving forward. But everything else, these 4 wonderful palettes, I have used a fair bit. You know, for someone who hasn't worn makeup a whole lot this month, I think I've worn makeup like 17 times, which is potentially more than I wore makeup in the entirety of last year. Possibly. Like, maybe not the entirety, but from about May onwards, I think I probably wore makeup only about 17 times. I would go weeks without it. So let's talk about these palettes, of which I have numbers. Now for the Fantastic Ladies collab, for the fun size, I picked the Jalapeno palette from e.l.f. and I've been using this a fair ton. I don't know if you can really tell any difference just from looking at it, but I used this first shade I used 5 times, the second shade I used 4 times, the third shade I used 5 times, and this end shade I've used 8 times. Because instead of using black shadow, I've actually just decided to use this as a liner. I tried using it as a deepening shade in the crease, and oh my goodness, it was giving off the worst Mutton Dress Islam vibes. This is the only way I could word it. It looked like I was 50 trying to wear my teen granddaughter's makeup, basically. So that's how I'm using this shade. In terms of using this palette, these shades, the shimmer shades, are easy to use. Are they my favorite formulation? No, they are not. I very much like this gold shade when I don't use a base. It does this really nice sheer effect, and I really enjoy that. But the rest of the palette, I like this shade as a liner, but I don't know if you can really tell, it smears and travels a lot, and I've never really had problem with eyeshadow traveling, but yeah, it travels a lot. This doesn't look very dark, but it gets darker as you blend it out. This almost like the greenness just blends away and it becomes something else entirely. And this is just a shimmery green. Yeah, not a huge fan of this palette. I will use it and use it up this year, most definitely. I wouldn't be too surprised if I actually had started hitting pan on any of these eyeshadows by the next update, if I can wear my makeup more often. I definitely think I'll have pan on the liner shade at the very least, and possibly this golden shade. So we'll see where we get to with that. For kicking old school, I had the Too Faced Natural Eyes at Night palette, and the only shades in here I used were, I can just check, Nightcap and Cocoa Star, and I used Nightcap 3 times and Cocoa Star twice. Again, not the biggest amount of progress, but I find these eyeshadows quite dusty, so when I do start getting just in here and maybe pick a month to focus on this palette, I wouldn't be surprised if I started seeing pans in here real quick, especially in these littler eyeshadows. They're just, yeah, they kick up a lot of dust. A lot of dust. For the tiny pans, I did pick the Mini Glam palette from Natasha Denona, which I do need to repress these shades because they are crumbling like crazy. I don't want to even open it to show you guys. But I have used this a fair amount of times. This first shade, Golden, I still don't know which way it is. I think this one might be Faye and this one's Golden Flash. Who knows? But either way, this first shade over here, the Golden Bronze, which I'm in love with. I actually have it on just now. I have used this 3 times. This middle shade, second shade here, I have only once here, but I'm pretty sure I've used it more than once. The middle shade, I haven't used at all. This dark brown, I have used 5 times, and this golden beautiness at the end here, I have used 8 times. So there is that. What I might do is only repress half of each shimmer shade in here, because I know how much the mixture can expand when you try and repress. So I might repress half into here and then the other half in, oh my goodness, eager, repress the other half into this extra eyeshadow palette. But I have actually been thoroughly enjoying this. I'm glad to finally be getting use and love out of this guy. I will say that middle shade does scare me a little bit. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it. I will have to swatch out and play with it and see where I can take it. And the final palette I have to update you with is the Better Together. This is the Tartelette in Bloom. Again, I don't know if you can really tell any difference in here, but what I have noticed, if I'll just turn it this way, it's just easier. The pan in Charmer is expanding a lot more on this side, and I'm definitely cleaning out a lot more around the edges. Like I'm getting a lot, like it's thinning out more around the edges. Smarty Pants, I'm very close to hitting pan in that. And I've been using Rebel a lot and Leader. I haven't really been using Smoke Show as much as the liner, as I said. I've been focusing more on that dark green, so I'll quickly go over the numbers. I've used Charmer 13 times. I used Charmer 13 times. I haven't used Jet Setter or Rocker. I used Smoke Show 4 times. I haven't used Flower Child. I've used Smarty Pants 8 times. Yes, 8 times. I haven't used Firecracker or Activist. I haven't used Funny Girl or Sweetheart. I've used Rebel 3 times and Activist twice. Not the best progress to be wanting to use up lots of eyeshadow in a year, but we are still early. There's still the whole rest of the year to go. Even if I just hit pan on lots of things this year, I would be super, super stoked. But I can honestly see myself at least being able to use up the Bite Size and the Natasha Denona palette this year, at the very least. I know there are a group of girls in the Fantastic Ladies that are panning the Tartelette in Bloom palette. I think specifically the Tartelette in Bloom palette is a little group, and they've spoken about how hard it is. And people who have panned this palette before have spoken about how difficult it is to get through a Tartelette palette. I mean, I've been working on this since 2021. Like, yeah, that's how much focus I've put on this palette. I've been working on it, not to use it up, but it's been a very much a go-to palette for the last 3 years. I mean, granted, last year I didn't wear a whole lot of makeup like at all, but still. Yeah, if I hit pan on all the shades in here before the end of the year, that would make you super, super happy. I'm pretty sure by the next update I will have gotten more pan in Charmer. I'm pretty sure I'll hit pan in Smarty Pants and possibly in Rebel if I carry on with it. If I hit pan in Smarty Pants, I might start working on Flower Child or Sweetheart just to get a bit more progress. But we'll see, we'll see. I kind of like the look that I'm doing at the moment. It's very... I will have another video talking about this another day, but I am older, guys. I'm going to be 35 this year. My skin is not what it used to be. Makeup doesn't sit on me like it used to be. Like this lip color, this would have been nothing for me 10 years ago. But now my lip shape and my lip lines is just... they're not what they used to be. The distance between like my nose and my lip is gotten larger as it does when you go older, and it's when I wear lip colour, it's so much more noticeable. I find makeup, the way I used to wear it, very aging, like very aging, and I just need to readjust and find a way to wear makeup that makes me feel pretty and is you know, conducive to using that product, you know. I've definitely found wearing foundation a lot lighter helps, but in terms of like eyeshadow, I can't go too crazy in the outer area anymore. I have like a fold here that I never used to have that really causes this eye to look very downturned. No, I don't think you will see it, but there is just this fold where the lid sort of goes more out this way, and if I bring eyeshadow too far out there, it just instantly makes this eye droop, and there's just no saving it. But yeah, I'll talk about it a lot more in another video soon, but the eye makeup that I've got on today, I really enjoy doing variations of this, just going a bit lighter. I used to be very about the smoky, bronzy, sultry eyes, and I just can't pull it off anymore, guys. I just can't, unless I find a new way of doing it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little update. Again, haven't really, I wore makeup half the month. That is from going barely wearing it once every other week to half the month. I'm very impressed with myself. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.